Hi, good afternoon. So today we're going to have a presentation about Bayanihan for the Planet, Uniting Filipino Spirit for Climate Action. So first, I just want to say something about our organization called Sustain Page Global. So Sustain Page Global is more than just a platform, it's a movement. Our mission is to empower Filipinos through accessible online education focused on sustainable living, climate awareness, and environmental stewardship. We are Canadian volunteers who are passionate about the planet and eager to share their knowledge. Through Zoom lectures and interactive sessions, we bring environmental education directly to Filipino communities, schools, and youth groups. So basically, we are a group of Canadian volunteers who organize this platform in order to teach Filipinos online for free about like anything about environment, sustainability, climate advocacy, and to create spark a movement. So about me, my name is Maria Gabrantina. I graduated Bachelor's of Science in Nursing at Far Eastern University back in 2007. I got my RN license in April 2008. I went to Canada in 2010. I worked as a personal support worker or caregiver from 2016 to 2025. So that'll be around like 9 years. So I developed a passion for the environment when COVID-19 hit. I started a recycled bead jewelry business and it helped in adding to the movement. Like I became aware of the need in environmental cause. Like I started to care about the planet, the environment, and because I know it's been such a problem and we need action about it. So apart from that, I also am a volunteer right now for Environmental Defense Canada. So I'm an eco-influencer, which means I post videos about environmental topics on my platform, social media platform like YouTube, Instagram, about Canada's environmental issues. And I'm also a volunteer for the Catholic Women's League of Canada and the Art Gallery of Mississauga. So I just founded this organization last August 2025. And thanks to my colleague Nazwa, I learned about online training modules with UNITAR, United Nations Institute for Training and Research. So I do trainings, online trainings with the United Nations. It's just like the online modules about anything about climate change. I take as much as I can. So there. So let's start. Understanding Bayanihan today. So how do we adapt Bayanihan in these current situations, in these modern times? So first of all, what is Bayanihan? So Bayanihan embodies the Filipino spirit of communal unity and cooperation. Originating from neighbors helping each other, today it inspires collective action for the greater good in our communities. Like back then, it was like see this photo. It was more of like helping to move houses like Bahay Kubo and stuff. Now it's more of like a collective action, especially during disaster situations. There's you can see bayanihan in presence in those um scenarios. So next one is understanding climate crisis in the Philippines. So everyone knows, especially when you grow up in the Philippines like me, like I spent the first 24 years of my life in the Philippines and I've experienced like ondoy and strong storms like that and flash floods, especially in my area because I lived in Rodriguez Rizal. It's very prone to floods and strong storms. So, as a brief overview, the Philippines is one of the most climate vulnerable countries in the world. It faces rising temperatures, extreme weather events, and environmental degradation. So, key impacts temperature rise. Local temperatures have increased by 1.3 to 2.2 degrees Celsius. It is projected to reach 2.5 to 4.1 degrees Celsius by 2100. So by the year 2100, I don't know if I'm still around back by then, but it will be very warm. So stronger typhoons, fewer but more intense storms, causing deadly floods and landslides. Like, did you notice that every time there's a storm, like in the news, there's always like, for example, 10,000 people die because of this storm, And so apart from that, there's also sea level rise and coastal erosion, like threatens millions living in low-lying areas. So the level of the sea rises because of the storms, like because too much water. Agricultural disruptions, droughts and floods damage crops, risking food security. So because of the droughts, like too much dryness or too much water, it risks like the crops, the plants, which it risks food security. That's why we had to import, right? The Philippines had to import. So environmental exploitation, there's illegal logging, mining, and poor waste management. It worsened the disaster risks. So because of illegal logging, mining, and not so much poor waste management because of I guess it's also because of the uncoordination of local government units to the people itself. That's why those waste management are not implemented. And another challenges are corruption, of course, undermines climate adaptation efforts and funding. It gets in the way of reaching the goals, like it slows down the progress, corruption, because we had to tend to, like, for example, what's happening right now. They had to take to courts the people who are involved, like or suspected to they are being suspected to have done things that are not right about the flood control projects, for example, and like miscalculations of funding as well. Like where did the money go, things like that. They don't really they don't monitor it, you know. And there's limited resilience. Communities lack resources to recover from repeated climate shocks. Like they haven't gotten over the previous climate shocks, and then there's another one. So that's why they haven't backed up with the resources. They haven't made up with the resources needed. So even though those are things are happening, we still have Bayanihan as our superpower for action. So why is it a superpower? Why is it our edge? Because community resilience, it mobilizes local action during disasters, evacuations, relief, and rebuilding. Like when worst comes to worst, like you'll see people helping each other, right? Yeah, because we are naturally like nature, like nurturing, and we don't really want to see our fellow men suffering. That's why it shows during emergency times. And then there's a grassroots sustainability, empowers collective efforts in tree planting, coastal cleanups, and climate education. Like I've seen one coastal cleanups recently in Manila. I saw it on Isko Moreno's Facebook page, and climate education, things like this. And inclusive participation engages all ages and sectors, elders, youth, farmers, and fisher folk in climate adaptation. So yeah, everyone is involved when it comes to bayanihan. And there's also rapid response, enables swift recovery after typhoons, floods, and droughts through shared labor and resources. So we help each other right away. That's why the recovery is fast. And last but not the least, emotional strength builds hope and solidarity in the face of climate anxiety and loss. So we tend to support each other emotionally and be there to one another. So I want to show you this video. Like this is an example of bayanihan in during disaster times. This is a video back in November 2020, care of UNTV. So let's watch this.
The resilience of Filipinos has once again been tested when consecutive typhoons battered the country this past few weeks. Weather disturbances as strong as super typhoon categories are not new to us Filipinos. In fact, at least 20 typhoons entered the country in a year. But this time around, we felt not just the wrath of nature, but also a pandemic that has affected millions of people around the world. Many have lost their jobs and their livelihood to the health and economic crisis. And once again, the determination and optimism of Filipinos have shown in the middle of a difficult time through the spirit of Bayanihan. Residents in the towns of Gataran and Amuluk in Cagayan province work hand in hand to unload the relief goods from this helicopter of the Philippine Air Force in an airdrop relief operation. Using a Philippine Air Force chopper, the sick were transported to the hospital after being trapped in an isolation area also in Cagayan. Meanwhile, personnel from the Philippine Army, Navy, Air Force, and the Philippine Coast Guard yet again showed their dedication to serve the Filipino nation by rescuing those who needed help. A lot of netizens were moved by these images, showing a PCG rescuer getting an infant out of harm's way using a basin. Two police officers from the regional office too have been recognized for rescuing and helping a woman give birth despite the flood. Much help arrived from Metro Manila and various other provinces to bring relief and comfort to our kababayan in Cagayan. Even the Members Church of God International or MCGI have lent a helping hand to those who need it in this time of difficulty and dire moments for those greatly affected by the recent typhoons. MCGI has recently brought relief goods to the Bicolanos, and next week they will head for Cagayan province to conduct a relief operation. In return, the Cagayanans thank and laud all those who did not forsake them, as well as reminded them that there is calm after a storm. Truly, Filipinos show the one-of-a-kind virtue of bayanihan in times it is needed the most. Joanna, UNTV News and Rescue. We serve the people, we give glory to God.
So there you go. So that's a video from UNTV News and Rescue. Please subscribe to them and thank you for the video. I give the credits to them. So yeah. So next one, you have to join the movement. So what can you do? What we can do is to engage with your community by organizing cleanups. If there's cleanups, you can join. If not, you can do something else like participate in tree planting or just by being active in social media, like attending webinars like this and supporting local eco-entrepreneurs, like for example, buying or purchasing eco-friendly products like handmade soaps or like liquids, that are made from organic and or even like products that has sustainable packaging, you can help by supporting them because every small action contributes to a greater impact for our planet. So next one, we have creative bayanihan. So bayanihan in arts and media. So art serves as a powerful tool for raising climate awareness, enabling communities to share stories through murals, social media, and performances that inspire collective action for our planet. So there are Filipino artists and storytellers that are reimagining bayanihan as a force for climate action. So first, it shows in documentaries and short films, like for example, Buhay sa Baha and Climate Stories PH. It spotlights community resilience during floods and typhoons. Next one, there is street theater and murals. Youth groups in Tacloban and Quezon City use public art to raise awareness about climate justice and disaster preparedness. So next one is social media movements. Campaigns like hashtag NowPH and hashtag KlimaBayanihan mobilizes digital volunteers for climate education and eco-activism. And also, there's a music and spoken word. Artists blend that traditional rhythms with climate themed songs like Taupo and Eco Collective Responsibility and Hope. Also, there is community zines and comics, like people make comics out of it now, and illustrations, like local illustrators create accessible climate guides in Tagalog and Visayan, empowering grassroots action. So if you want to check them out, please do. Um, they're very interesting and it supports climate advocacy, which is very timely now, and it will be helpful for our motherland, you know. And because art transforms Bayanihan into creative revolution, it unites hearts, minds, and hands for a livable future. So there. So this is a photo of a volunteer teacher of the Conrado and Ladislao Alcantara Foundation. It is a 2022 National Outstanding Volunteer Organization. They provide education through teaching indigenous peoples, children in Sarangani, and they teach them literacy skills and they help them to be readers. Like they teach these children the Blaan art of storytelling. So it says that women and youth are the forefront of climate action, demonstrating unmatched resilience and creativity. Together, they inspire change and cultivate a sustainable future for all through bayanihan. Uh, So how do we build the bayanihan network? So first, we connect with groups, collaborate with NGOs and local organizations, even through like Facebook groups or um like online at first, start with online. And then if you happen to have like a meetup in your area, then join if you have time. And then share resources, distribute training materials and toolkits for action. And then create a calendar, organize community events and initiatives throughout the year. So make sure you're organized, like you have these set dates on when you will attend and when you know the upcoming events and all that. So this one is we're gonna do this on our live session. So that's it's not for now. And then yeah, that's it. So thank you so much for watching this video. I'm glad you are here with me today and you're watching this video right now. And let me know in the comment section if you have any questions or suggestion, or follow our Facebook page so you can attend our live session. It's in Philippine time, usually at 9 p.m. Philippine time, either Monday, Wednesday, or Friday, sometimes Saturday. Okay, so thank you again for give giving a time to watch my presentation, and yeah, take care. Bye.